Hello students, welcome back to our channel. Students, in this video we are going to discuss Kirchhoff's laws of electrical networks. There are two laws of Kirchhoff which are very useful to solve an electrical circuit. When we say solve, we mean that how to find these variables: current in the circuit, voltage in the circuit, resistance in the circuit. If your circuit is complex, like you cannot easily see that these resistors are in series or these resistors are in parallel, when you cannot solve the circuit by any other technique, then you can solve the circuit using Kirchhoff's laws. So there are two laws. First law is called the junction rule, which says that the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is zero. What is a junction? A junction is a point in an electrical circuit where more than two branches meet. This is a junction. This point, let us say P, or we don't have to name it. This point is called junction because five branches are meeting at this point. So the first law says that the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is zero, which means that if suppose a current I1 is coming towards this junction and current I2 is coming towards this junction from this branch, and current I3 from this branch, and current I4 is going away from the junction from this branch, and current I5 is going away from the junction from this branch. So this law says that the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is zero. Or we can say that the total current coming towards the junction is equal to the total current which is leaving the junction. Both statements have same meaning. Let us see how. Total current which is coming towards the junction is I1 plus I2 plus I3. So if we write I1 plus I2 plus I3 equal to the total current which is leaving the junction, and the total current which is leaving the junction is I4 plus I5. Total current which is leaving the junction is I4 plus I5, right? So this is very logical. This is directly based on the law of conservation of charge. Current is nothing but charge flowing per unit time. So this equation says that there is no accumulation of charge at the junction. Total charge coming per unit time towards the junction is equal to the total charge going away from the junction per unit time. So it is directly derived from the law of conservation of charge. Okay. Now how can we justify this statement? The algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is zero. Now if you will bring these two currents on LHS, so this will be minus I4, or we can write it like this. This will be plus minus I4. We can write it like this, plus minus I5 equal to 0. Now this is the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is 0. The currents which are coming towards the junction and the currents which are going away from the junction, they both have opposite signs. We can take one as negative and the other one as positive. So here we have taken those currents as positive which are going towards the junction, and those currents as negative which are going away from the junction. And if we add by taking proper signs, then the sum will be 0. So both the statements have same meaning, that the algebraic sum of currents meeting at a junction is 0, or the total current entering the junction is equal to the total current leaving the junction. Okay. Now let's come to the second law. Second law is called the loop rule, which says that the algebraic sum of potential drops across all the components of closed electrical circuit is 0. What it is saying? It is saying that if there is a closed electrical circuit is also called a loop. That's why this law is called the loop rule. Closed electrical circuit is also called a loop. For example, in this circuit we can see two loops. One is A, B, C, F and A, and the other loop is F, C, D, E, F. and there is one bigger loop also, which is A, B, D, E, A. So any closed circuit is called a loop, and this law, second law, is applicable to loops. What it is saying? It is saying that the algebraic sum of the potential drops across all the components in a loop is 0. For example, to use this law, we have to use proper sign conventions. What we will do now, there are total 3 branches in this circuit, 1, 2 and 3, having different currents. AF and FB and BC, they are not 3 branches, they are only 1 branch, right? So there will be a value of current in this branch and a single value of current in this branch and a single value of current in this branch. So there are total 3 currents in the circuit. We will assume those currents as I1, I2 or I3. Most of the time we are supposed to find the values of the current in the circuit. So in this example, using this example, we are going to understand the second law, and in this example what we are going to do, we are going to make 2-3 important equations. So if we are supposed to find the current or the voltage or the resistance, anything can be calculated using those equations. And using junction rule, an equation can be formed wherever the junction is present. One equation can be formed at F junction and one for C junction. Both will be same in this case. Okay, let's see what I'm saying. Take one loop and assume any direction of current in that loop. This, not the loop branch. Take one branch and assume any direction of current in that branch. First we are taking this branch FABC, and let us assume that the direction of current in this branch is this, and name this current as I1, right? Now take the second branch and assume any direction of current in this branch. Now let us take the current in this branch is in this direction, and let us take it as I2. Now take the third branch and assume any direction of current in this branch. Now let us assume that the current in this branch is in this direction, and let us take this as I3. Since the current flows from higher to lower potential, now direction of current is what? Direction of current is the direction of flow of the positive charge, and positive charge always flows from higher potential to lower potential. So if the current is flowing in this direction, then this end must be at higher potential and this end must be at lower potential. For higher potential we are showing positive sign, and for lower potential we are showing negative sign. Same we will do here, positive, negative, because direction of current is this and direction of current is this, so this will be positive and this will be negative. Okay, so first we have to assume the direction of current, and according to that direction we will put positive, negative signs in higher to lower direction, higher to lower potential direction, which is the direction of flow of current. Now take any loop. Now take any loop. Let us take this first loop, loop A F C B A, A F C B A, A F C B A, and consider a direction of loop traversal. Now let us take this direction as the direction in which we are moving to make the equation. This is the direction of our motion. Okay, so we will start from A, we will travel in this direction, and we will come back to A, and what we will do in between, let's see. Okay, let's start from A. Starting from A, what is the first component that is there in the path? Starting from A, the first component which is there in the path is this cell, and the potential difference of this cell is E2. Now we have to see, are we going in the direction of negative potential or decreasing potential or increasing potential? Since we are going from positive to negative, this is the positive terminal, this is the negative terminal. Since we are going from positive to negative, that means we are going in the direction of decreasing potential, and if we are going in the direction of decreasing potential, we have to take the potential as negative. So this is minus E2. Now next component is this resistance. We are going in this direction, right? Next component is this resistance. Now when we are going in this direction, first terminal is negative and the second one is positive. That means we are going from lower to higher potential, right? We are going from lower to higher potential, and if we are going from lower to higher potential, then the potential difference must be positive, and the potential difference across a resistor is I into R using Ohm's law, right? So what is the current in this branch? I2, and resistance of this is R2, so plus I2 R2. Now move forward, and the next component is this, and now we are going from negative to positive. Negative to positive means we are going in the direction of increasing potential, so we will write plus E1, and again positive to negative, decreasing potential, minus I1 R1, because potential difference across this is I1 R1 equal to 0. When the loop is complete, we started from point A and now we have again arrived at point A. So when the loop is complete, then the total sum is 0. This is what the law is saying. The algebraic sum of potential drops across all the components of closed electrical circuit is 0. Okay, let us take one more example. Now let us take loop F, E, and direction of traversal is this. We are taking this loop and we will move in this direction. Now let us take this loop, which is loop FEDCF. FEDCF. Starting from F, first component is, and moving in this direction, first component is R3, and we are going from positive to negative, which is the direction of decreasing potential. So the potential drop is I3R3. I3R3. Now second component is this, and we are going in increasing potential, negative to positive. So it is plus E3. Now again, this is the direction of decreasing potential. So minus I2R2 and plus E2. Loop is complete, so the sum is 0. So this is what the second law says. Now this is how we are going to make the equation and solve the question. For example, now let us say this circuit is given and we have to find the current in each branch of this circuit. Okay, what was the first step? First step was to assume the direction of current in all the branches. Now in this direction, let us say the current in this branch, let us say the current is in this direction, right? And in this branch, let us say the current is in this direction, and in this branch, let us say the current is in this direction. Name this current as I1, name this current as I2, and name this current as I3. So there are 3 unknown variables, so we need 3 equations to solve this circuit, and to find the value of I1, I2 and I3 we need 3 equations. First equation will be formed using the first loop. Now first let us put positive negative signs in the direction of current. So positive negative ये ऐसे जा रहा है, positive negative. Okay, so loop. Now let us take loop AFCBA. AFCBA. Loop AFCBA. Right? Okay. Starting from A, let us move in this direction, and the first component is this cell, and we are going from positive to negative. That means we are going in decreasing potential direction, so we will write minus 6. Now negative to positive, increasing potential, current in this branch is I2, resistance is 15, so we will write plus 15 I2. Next component is this, we are going in decreasing potential, and the current in this is I1. So minus 5 I1 and plus 8. Loop is complete. Answer is 0. Okay. 15 I2 minus 5 I1, 8 minus 6 is 2. So this equation is this, right? We need three equations. The second, this is the first equation. Second equation will come from this loop. FEDCF. Loop FEDCF. Loop FEDCF. Starting from F, the direction of traversal was this in this case, and now in this loop we are taking the direction of traversal again as this. So starting from F, going in this direction, the first component is this resistance of 10 ohm and the current in that branch is I3. So positive to negative means decreasing potential. So this should be minus 10 I3. Potential across this one is minus 10 I3. Now negative to positive, plus 2. Positive to negative, minus 15 I2. Minus 15 I2 plus 6 equal to, loop complete. Now we have again arrived at F. So loop is complete. So it is minus 10 I3 minus 15 I2. 6 plus 2 is 8. This is the second equation, but we need three equations because there are three unknown variables. So the third equation can be formed using the junction rule. At this junction, suppose which current is coming towards the junction? This is I1. So this current I1 is coming towards the junction. This I2 is also coming towards the junction, and I3 is leaving the junction. So the total current coming towards the junction is equal to the total current leaving the junction. So I3 should be equal to the sum of I1 and I2, and this will work as our third equation. So now we are going to solve equation 1, 2 and 3 to find the values of I1, I2 and I3. What we will do, we will substitute this value of I3 in this equation, and both the equation, this and this, will become equations in I1 and I2, and we will solve those equations and find the value of I1 and I2. Okay, this becomes minus 10. So in place of I3 I am going to write I2 plus I1 minus 15 I2 equal to minus 8. Minus 10 I2 minus 15 I2 is minus 25 I2 minus 10 I1 equal to minus 8. Now we can take minus as common. So this equation is 10 I1 plus 25 I2 equal to 8. Now we have to solve equation 1, and this equation we can solve it using substitution method or elimination method. Okay, let's do one thing that will make things very easy. Let's do one thing. The coefficient of I1 in this equation is 10 and coefficient of I1 in this equation is 5. So if we multiply this equation by 2, then the coefficient of I1 becomes minus 10, and in this case the coefficient of I1 is plus 10. So if we now add these two equations, I1 term will be eliminated and we can find the value of I2. So this is 30 I2 2 will be multiplied from with every term, na? So 2 into 15, 15 into 2 is 30, minus 5 into 2 is minus 10. Minus 10 I1 plus 30 I2 equal to minus 4. Okay, so now let's add these two equations. If we add these two equations, this term will get cancelled out, and 30 plus 25. 30 plus 25 is 55. 55 I2, 8 minus 4 is 4. So 55 I2 is 8 minus 4, 4. So I2 is 4 by 55 ampere. I2 is 4 by 55 ampere. Okay. Now this is I2. Now let's put the value of I2 in any one of the equations. Let's put the value of I2 in this equation, 4 by 55. So this is 15 into I2. So it will become 15 into 4 by 55 minus 5 I1 equal to minus 2. Minus 5 I1 equal to minus 2. Yes. Okay. 5 into 3, 5 into 11. So it is 12 by 11 minus 5 I1 equal to minus 2. Minus 5 I1 equal to minus 2 minus 12 by 11. Minus 5 I1 equal to minus 22 minus 12 by 11. Minus 5 I1 equal to minus 34 by 11. I1 is 34 divided by 55 ampere. This is the value of I1. So I1 is 34 by 55 and I2 is 4 by 55 and I3 is I2 plus I1. Since I3 is I2 plus I1, therefore I2 was 4 by 55 and I1 was 34 by 55. So the value of I3 is 38 by 55 ampere. So this is how you can use these two laws to solve any electrical circuit. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, all the very best.